wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Versace.
I don't wanna see you, but you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. Just my luck, push me away. You understand? There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand. Come on, name. You understand? I wanna stay. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. Just my luck, push me away. You understand? There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand. I wanna leave. You understand? I wanna stay. 'Cause I don't wanna walk away. I wanna see you, but you fall apart.
Alright, we are live. The countdown has finished. We are back with Guardians of the Rift versus guys in real life. And we're going straight into draft.
Yep,
Hello.
hello.
Let's swap out our music then.
So, quick breakdown as these are our two top teams. And we'll have to see how they ban against each other, how they match up. I think the most interesting places to look is the mid-jungle duos. Because I think we've got a seesaw effect in that we've seen Stinky doing very well for the side of Girl, whereas I feel like Eric has been there and he's been an important part of the team, but I don't feel like he's been one of the people that's really influenced the fact that they've won. So I'd like to see that sort of step up to a point where he is one of those main reasons why they've won the game. And then also we've got Dot into Preston, and I think Dot has been like the main reason why GOTR have been getting those wins. Not to say the other players have not been playing really well, because especially a lot of them have been playing really well, but Dot really stands out on this roster, and I think it'll be interesting to see how Preston plays into that and how he does.
Yeah, thanks for that quick rundown. Quick press and aid yourself. But yes, bans are coming out. We have actually talked about this earlier before we're in our game break between MM and AE, that we said that the mid lane matchup between Dot and Preston is big, and seeing these Ione and Vigar bans come out, these are the champions you were calling out.
Might be picked up. Yeah, basically Kassadin's coming out as a ban because Dot's by far best champion is
No
Kassadin.
Azir ban though. Oh, we've seen so much good on Dot's Azir, and it's still not getting bans.
So they might just be happy playing into the Azir, quite honestly. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They decide to priority that Shen pick, and in return they've given over Caitlyn. We saw Tedo doing very well on the Caitlyn, so it'll be interesting to see what they pick back in response to that. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ashe picked up, or maybe a MF, and then trying to get a kill lane and actually just all-inning the Caitlyn early.
It will probably be an Ashe Senna lane in the bot lane. Senna is a main support player, sort of champion for Zoe, and Saboteur has played a lot of Ashe.
Yep. We see the jungler picked up for the side of Girl, and that's Skarner. Skarner is an interesting pick. It's not a champion you see too much, but it does give them a big front line, and they decide to go for the Morgana.
I actually really like this pickup of Skarner for
I don't.
Stinky, but I only like it because I don't see it very often.
We literally played it against. We played against it in our first game earlier against Girl, so it is the second game Stinky is playing on Skarner today for me seeing it.
Saboteur hates Ashe, I think is what he's saying in the chat right now. So yep, as I was saying, maybe we'll see him move more towards
Or is
that
this like
MF.
the 5-head play where he says, "No, I hate Ashe," and they're like, "Okay, we
Ashe.
don't need to ban Ashe." Nikki says, "GOTR for the win." What was that, Nikki?
Yep, and then we see Karma locked in to get that strong early bot lane for the side of GOTR. They also have that Gangplank in the top lane to go into the Shen. Gangplank can go quite well into Shen. Ashe is banned out just as that classic Caitlyn counter. But as we've just seen, Saboteur doesn't like playing Ashe, so maybe a wasted ban.
Or maybe
Zack's
they
banned
saw
out.
past the 5-head.
Girl is focusing now on that jungle pool, seeing as they've got their jungler, trying to put Eric down onto a champion that he's not as comfortable on. I think that's quite a smart decision. For me, Eric's been one of the points in this team where we haven't seen him step up yet, in my opinion.
I feel like a lot of the teams that go into GOTR like to ban out Eric. And so
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times we see Eric on these junglers that he's not 100% on. So like, I think it was last time we saw GOTR last week, we saw him put on this Trundle, and I don't think that's one of Eric's, primary picks. So actually I want to see one time Eric come in and be like on his main pick. I want to see what Eric can do.
Trundle.
Yeah, we see the Trundle coming out again. I don't know if I like Trundle here, but you know what? If it's a comfort pick, it's a comfort pick. It doesn't really give them any real front line. So yeah.
Trundle is one of Eric's one of his main champions at the moment. He's been playing a lot of Trundle alongside.
Never mind, I
Jarvan
was
in
just
fact.
wrong.
Yes, Jinx pulled out. Saboteur has been playing a lot of Jinx, and that just lends to they'll try and get through that laning phase, and then Jinx will be better than Caitlyn in a team fight. No Azir. Oh, Azir was banned, possibly because Preston doesn't want to play it. But they do have to blind pick their mid laner here, and you can see GOTR is putting that priority into getting their mid lane the good matchup.
I go for Ziggs for Preston. I think we've seen Ziggs once before, and it was Preston, and I think he came out pretty good from it. So I think when he picked it, I was sitting thinking, oh, I don't like the Ziggs, but actually, if I remember right, he came out hot, and actually the Ziggs was pretty good. But
And then
he
the
isn't
Corki
gone.
picked up for Dot here.
Hmm.
Corki into Ziggs. Not really seen it too much, but I don't think it's a big surprise. I wouldn't expect to see one of them really smash the other one ridiculously.
So from me playing against Girl for we've played 6 games against each other now, and Girl's basically they pop off and they do really well in the late game. They throw themselves to try and get to that late game, get themselves ahead in the mid game, just farm to the late game, and then they win late. That's how they've won the games against us every single time. We haven't been able to close it off in the mid game because of it.
Yeah,
So,
in my opinion, their team fighting is really on point.
yeah,
You do have some late game scaling options on the side of GOTR, but they are very focused, auto attack heavy. I would expect to see a lot of Ninja Tabby just picked up on the side of Girl, and that Shen. Oh, that Shen W is going to be massive.
yeah. So the
No
games we
pressure.
played with earlier against Girl, our main bans were basically Yone, Viger, and Shen. We didn't want Yamato to be on that Shen. So with the first game, we did let Viger through because we didn't want Stinky onto his. We banned Jarvan because Stinky was played him before. But we banned Shen both games because we did not want Yamato on that Shen for the global ults. But instead ended up playing Jax in the top lane and Skarner in the jungle. So he's gone back to his main on Shen in the top lane to go for the global ults, and they're going to go for that late game again, pushing forward that Jinx.
It's worth noting there isn't much CC on the side of GOTR, so the Black Shield you would expect to not be useful, but in actual fact it will be extremely useful here, and Skarner just ulting people out of the front line of GOTR, pulling them back to his team and getting them killed. Key matchup may be mid, yes, as I was saying before the game started. I'd expect the key matchup to be mid lane generally, mid lane with the jungle duos. Who really wins there will probably win the game. It's possible one of these bot lanes pops off, but I think both the bot lanes are good enough. I wouldn't expect one to extremely smash in the other one, even if you focus a lot of pressure down there. I'm not expecting one bot lane to get ridiculously far ahead. I think both bot lanes are good enough at playing the game that I wouldn't expect one to just fold even if they fell slightly behind.
So I'm going to throw up a poll in chat for the voting, so you guys in chat can vote for who you think is going to take game 1 in this series, whether that be Girl on the blue side or GOTR on the red side. Vote is up in chat now. Knock yourself
And in my opinion, easier to enact upon draft would be Girls as well. I think they have an easier draft to execute on. GOTR's front line, yeah, it's pretty much non-existent. You've got that Trundle who has to ult the Skarner or the Shen to get those base stats to really help himself live. And then, is he gonna live? Hard to say.
Certainly find out. I feel like Girls comp really does rely. So they need to stall out to get Zabatori the 2-3 item spike, because their ability to protect this Jinx, I mean, it's already. They've got the Shen, so they've already got this. They've got the Sand United, they've got the W shield, which from a lot of GOTR's damage from the Corki, the Caitlyn, and the GP is going to be super, super useful. But also the fact that GOTR, as you said, haven't drafted a lot of CC in, makes it so much harder to shut out that Jinx.
are just so massive for Jinx and Ziggs.
I didn't quite realize how far into the game we were. Whew.
Oh,
As-
yeah, okay.
As per
right,
normal, my
yeah.
computer was super slow to load in. Apologies for that.
Nothing's really happened. Both red starts. Karma has started with the Relic Shield, which is interesting. It means she's not expected to get that much poke off, or just wants the more reliable damage, and may have taken it so they can get that early level 2 and really get the early pressure out. She has saved both of her procs, so I expect to be using them on these minions to force the level 2 quicker. Now we can see that being used, but actually, he'll get level 2 first.
It actually still has one of her charges available. I know it's Comet. I hate how similar the Relic Shield charge and Comet look. Did you see Eric pathing towards the spot side already? Troll Zoe gonna spot him out, but a nice slow from Glazy. Actually gonna
Holds
forcing
the
out
flash.
Troll
Flash
Zoe's
out
flash.
Zoe did well there to hold the flash as long as possible before using it. Managed to get out some extra mana. And they do have information now on where Eric is.
So the interesting thing is that the Skarner's actually gone for a whole jungle clear apart from his Crocs and is going for the top river scuttle, whereas Eric did go buff to his blue side bot lane.
Yes, there's not much Skarner can do in terms of the early ganks. He can maybe do something in the top lane, but I wouldn't expect him to be able to get anything mid. And he's struggled to get anything bot just because of the Karma speed up. You can see he just did a full clear.
Eric's jungle there.
So here we go.
Eric coming
Eric's
back.
going down for the bot side again. There's the flash coming
Flash
out
forward
from Lazy Panda.
They know Zoe has no flash.
Eric's got a nice.
Oh, but
Going
Zamatori
out,
might
going
actually die as
in.
well here.
Cutting off Zoe completely in the bush, and Caitlyn takes up the first blood. Lazy Panda getting really low, but getting away.
Ooh.
Root didn't quite connect into Zavatori as I was looking for.
So they do get a kill there onto Tenno, which is big. But also, the entire top side of the jungle is being taken here by Stinky.
Yeah, Remington is there to try and
Remington's
push him
spotted him
off,
out.
Remington
They're
but
going
actually...
in, getting the stun, and just taking up that last.
They're running
Eric's
back
back.
around. Zavatori
Eric going
does have
in,
flash
nice
still.
flash onto the Jinx, and Jinx might be
Ooh,
picking
Lazy
up a
Panda's-
kill. Getting a kill on the Karma.
Yeah, stepping forward on just over 100 health is not the best idea. You can see Jinx, Flash, and Heal both.
Zavatori's not done. Or maybe he is now.
Yeah,
Double
Caitlyn can
headshot.
output quite a lot of damage. So overall, with everything that happened there, I'd say a net win for Girl. It'd be interesting with this top lane. Yamato hard pushed and then backed. Will Reddington decide to attempt a freeze?
He has got the... Nope, he's
not.
building up a barrel there.
Nope, he's
Oh,
just
there we
going
go.
for...
There we go.
I have to be
no
honest,
difference.
I think it's kind of interesting that you say that Girl's going to come out on top of that, because they got the first blood on Geo2R, and Geo2R used all 4 sums of bot lane, whereas Caitlyn is still quite happy with Flash and Cleanse.
She is, but you have to remember as well how much this Skarner actually just got from the jungle.
Speaking
Getting
of
the route out
Skarner,
there, Lazy Panda not getting caught out, Trundle going for that, getting hit by the Dark Binding, securing the Skarner from escaping.
Very nice binding. Yeah, the Skarner did manage to take both Raptors and Krugs in return for it.
but when you look at
which is
overall
pretty
gold
big.
in return, it puts him about 200 ahead of Eric. Well, 150, 150 200. Tenno's lead on Zavatori is greater,
Yeah, the main difference there is the XP lead. He's about half a level ahead now.
which...
Yeah.
Actually, Eric really low there, having to run away from that dragon.
Yeah, Girl just stick around, poking a little bit. Dragon does most of the work for them.
He can deny that plant away from Eric, which... Honestly, I think that means that GTR can't do dragon here.
No, I don't expect either team really to end up doing this Drake. We might see a smite
Ooh,
fight.
smite fight
Going
by
picked
for
up by
Skarner.
Eric.
Eric going in for the Skarner. Here comes Corky. There's a flash going out on the
Roots,
Skarner. The stun
sticks.
goes. Knock up into the wall. Eric cannot pursue onto that Skarner.
Really
More
nice
round
stun from
coming up
Stinky,
again.
but
Stinky's
good
flash
secure.
out.
It's these clutch moments that I wanted to see coming out from Eric, where you could say that would actually make some effect on the game. The fact that he did win that like smite fight for the scuttle.
Once again, Jolyu gonna back away from all the binding hits.
I think he jumped.
Forces
Turns
Jolyu
going
the
off,
pit.
Garner going in, getting hit by that Jinx W, and they're going to secure the ult coming out from gameplay, but they're securing the dragon.
That was
Go.
There was a small part of me that thought the cannon barrage was going to get that back dragon there.
it was a hopeful cannon barrage. Yeah, not much coming out of it really. Just very hopeful.
Now, that 10% CDR, considering you've got Stand United and whatever Skarner's ultimate's called, I actually don't know.
That taunt going in the top lane, Reddington actually just having to get out, but no mana to contest that Shen.
Ghana's ultimate is impaled, by the way.
Impale, thank you. Yeah, both of those are huge ults to have 10% CDR on.
We also got the global ultimate on the Jinx and the semi-global, I'm going to call it, on the Ziggs, which both can do an insane amount of damage. If they time those correctly together, they can actually outsmite people just with the two ultimates.
That is true. Now, speaking of actually this mid lane, we saw, last time Preston Ziggs came out, had this aggressive, dominating performance on the Ziggs, made the Ignite worth it, I think got the first blood solo kill. This game, less so. I think Doc playing around his aggression much better than, I can't remember who played the season 2 last time.
Yeah, you can see he's even picked up the Cull here just to help get himself ahead in the lane. That's Doc picking up the Cull. On the Corki,
So the Ignite from Preston actually going to be a real hindrance to him. Without the TP, isn't able to follow Dot as well as he'd like to be able to.
won't be able to, no, yeah.
Does have the Supermassive Bomb in the ultimate, so he can respond in some way. But yeah, isn't going to be able to quite provide the same map presence that Dot can. Second
So
dragon
actually
is going to be a ocean. So actually we want an Infernal or a Mountain Rift.
TP actually pulled out from Reddington there. TP's back up to that top wave just to pick it up. Will that be worth it or mean anything? We'll have to see.
Do you see Eric
Looks like they're
Parker?
going for the Herald for the Trundle in the jungle, looking to pick that up.
Yeah, I think that team from Reddington does help them secure this Herald, considering he's now up top, available, ready to respond. But considering Yamato took a reset, stinks on the bottom side of the map, it wasn't really needed. It does mean
The
that Yamato
interesting-
can't step up here.
I think that's the ultimate coming up for the 6, but I think at the same time, Jinx ultimate are coming up as well, but missing them.
Slightly too late, yeah.
I'd say the same thing is like the teleport actually made the Shen back out, because otherwise he would be in a situation where Gangplank can push up heavily if he knows the Shen is still there once he teleports back. Going in from the Shen with the E, the W comes down and not doing enough damage to follow up, but just being a nice poker.
Small trade there.
Yeah, small trade.
That's what you expect to come out now and then. Slowly poke out the Gangplank, keep the pressure up. I think the Ziggs pick will probably work into the Corki more than people expect, because as Corki wants to roam, Ziggs can really pressure down that tower. You can't leave Ziggs alone with a tower.
Especially with the Hexax
I
actual.
see a potential tower dive actually being set up here. Skarner is waiting around in that bush above the bottom
It's
lane.
resetting. Not on a ward though. Yeah.
Does reset. Just taking a bit too long to push in, doesn't really want to force that. They do have some very nice wards around the bot lane. It is possible to sneak past those, but yeah, overall they have fairly good vision.
Yeah, actually, Girl really focusing their vision on the bottom side of this map. Jolyu don't actually have a whole lot on the map, just got the 2 pink wards and the one in the top river bush. Whereas in fact top lane is just warded fairly well. Reddington expecting something from Stinky. But yeah, Girl really focusing on the bottom side of the map, trying to keep Zabatore and Zoe safe as they can.
So, interesting point here. I almost like to see GOTR just use this Herald as a way to secure themselves the next dragon. you can put the Herald down, say mid lane, and leave it to crash and have somebody have to answer it while you start and do the dragon itself. Looks like they're gonna go for the gank onto bot lane maybe.
Package is ready.
Nice
Yeah,
binding.
you can see why they're doing this, as they did just see the Skarner towards the top side of the map. So there's only 30 seconds left, or 9 seconds till the Drake's up. You can actually see that they could be bursting down this dragon before Skarner even reaches to the mid lane.
Is Skarner in the mid lane? Showed
He is
himself.
Skarner in the
Pack
mid
and
lane.
ready.
Package is
actually
used. I mean, I assume it was the end of the
Going
cooldown.
towards Zoe in the bot lane. There's the ultimate coming out from Morgana.
Black Shield's still on. Nice block from Zabatore.
Stand United from Shen. Going in, Gangplank ultimate. There is a nice W down there.
Used Eric's
Hasn't
low,
flashed
flashes
away.
out. Here comes Skarner.
Ziggs coming, the Ziggs coming as
Impale
well.
is used to
Skarner
just hold the jungle
saving
there.
Trundle from Ziggs, but then Ziggs comes and takes it with the Q. Gangplank pushing up the top lane, and they just go out with 1 kill.
Yeah,
That's
1
the
for
good
0
use
there.
of the Impale there from Skarner just to secure the kill on the jungler so they can make sure they get this Drake. Better to just use that ultimate there than to try and risk it and get the kill without the ultimate.
I would
Especially when it is
say-
on the enemy jungle.
I would only say that the thing is that he probably didn't have to use the ultimate there, because he actually pulled the Trundle on very low health out of Ziggs' ultimate. So
Yeah,
if he
possibly,
didn't
but
ult, he would have gone into Ziggs' ultimate and died to the ultimate, or would have gone to Jinx at least.
I prefer just to see from teams them securing things and making sure
Yeah.
they get things rather than playing on the edge when they don't have to.
It
That's
doesn't
all they
matter
really
too
needed
much.
was the one pick.
I think it's
Ziggs got the
important
kill in the end.
for Girl to secure this dragon and get themselves to soul as fast as they can. Because if you look at the Corki,
So this
the
is a top
Caitlyn,
lane
are
dive.
all looking for later game item spikes.
There's an engage going on the top lane, and Reddington is actually taking a lot of damage to the Shen.
Yamato wants this fight.
Yamato
Still
is taking
going.
it, and is going
He
to
should
kill
know
him.
Eric's here.
coming up, using that pillar and getting the flash out of Shen.
I think he's
Skarner's
just trying
coming
to
up the
deny
top lane
local
as well,
gold.
getting the stun out on the Trundle. Is he going to get away with this?
Ooh, it's fine.
And Smite coming out, Ziggs
Got it.
ultimate up, not catching
Just
on the
picks
ga-
up the gangplank.
and they trade the kill to the Skarner. 2
Trade
kills
1 for
now on the
1.
Ziggs.
And Trundle ends up getting the first
Oh,
turret cult.
Gotta take more
Ooh,
damage
but
there.
nice taunt forwards, and Dot just not respecting there the amount of damage that could be output by a Shen and a Ziggs.
In the meantime, first tower did fall. But yeah, denied local gold. So the only gold that went down there was the platings to Eric for the Herald.
Hey, we have Mobies on an enchanter again. Let's see this roaming from the Karma. Honestly,
To be fair, Lazy
Did-
Panda has already roamed a bit
did-
this game.
did roam to that top lane to help secure the Herald. As long as Lady Panda does keep up this roaming, then you can justify the fact you're buying Moby Boots in this situation.
So it'll be interesting to see how G2 now play against Girl. You can see through the gold difference in each lane, the main issue they have in gold and lead is the Ziggs now. Every other lane is actually ahead in gold and is ahead in their lanes, apart from that Ziggs and Corki.
But you have to remember eventually Jinx is going to outscale the Caitlyn. Arguably, yeah, you're going to outscale, Gangplank's going to outscale the Shen. You have to be very careful. This Jinx will eventually become very hard for you to kill.
She
Yeah.
almost has enough gold for the IE.
And you can already see double Ninja Tabby picked up for the 2 frontline members of Girl.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to see, considering you had Corki, Caitlyn, GP. You got Trundle.
And Trundle.
Almost forgot Trundle.
So it's
Oh,
going to
Reddington.
be Shen going in. You have the Skarner coming up behind,
Preston's coming up.
ulting it, pressing
Impale
it
is used to
over
just
that
pull
way.
him
Ziggs
back.
coming up, and it goes to the Skarner. Looking for that Herald in the top side now.
Ooh,
Dark
Trundle
Bunny going
taking a
up
lot
on
of damage
there.
there.
There's a lot of damage coming
Tenno,
onto Tenno.
force the
There
cleanse.
is that cleanse
Force the
coming up.
Cleanse. Zabatore's on
Flash
normal
coming
shot.
up. Jinx ulting, and they get away. with a
Ultimates
nice
and
trade.
Summoners traded there. Overall, coming out slightly in the favor of Girl.
Still have exhaust and
Tenno
both ultimates.
does still
on the
have the
side
ultimate
of
left.
G2R.
Lazy Panda sitting on that Mantra Charge.
Getting that nice damage, almost getting that kill onto the Morgana, and they got the Rift pushing it to top lane to get that first turret, and maybe pushing it to the
Well, the
second.
first turret
First
for
tower
Girl,
for Girl.
First
second
turret
tower of
into
the game.
top lane, yes.
Whether
Eric's
that's
there.
worth it or not is arguable.
Impale almost back up
Getting
again.
taunted
Nice.
Eric
by
out of
Eric,
position.
stunned Eric in the jungle,
Nice CC
trying
chain.
to
Second
stop
Get the
charge.
that
second
arrow.
charge.
And it looks like Ioriaa is actually responding with the tier 1 in the bot lane.
Yeah, so they're using the fact that Caitlyn is stronger, Caitlyn Karma stronger than Jinx Morgana early, and they managed to finally pick up that bottom lane tower. Now I'd like to see just them try and freeze this bot lane wave, but Zeratori instead choosing to push it. I would have liked to see them try and freeze it near their tower, allow your Morgana to just go off and roam, try and get things done on the rest of the map. But it looks like maybe they want to go for this dragon. There is only 30 seconds on the dragon. They can time their wave pushing so that it pushes about when the dragon spawns and try and go for it there.
Is this a death bush?
This is a death bush from Girl.
They have no vision.
Looking up
They've
for the
spotted
gang.
Reddington. He has the orange.
No flash. It looks like
They
it's going
just-
to be an easy kill straight over to the
Yep,
Ziggs. He has
300
nothing
gold
he can
straight to
do.
Preston.
But they have
Nothing
given
that
away
Reddington
4
can
of them
do.
are on the top side of the map, and the dragon is spawning. If GOTR is smart about this, they could just run in for
Preston's
this
probably gonna
dragon.
just W this tower. If he can get it low enough. It's not low enough. Doesn't get the satchel charge.
Oh no.
Slightly underestimate or overestimating how much damage he does there without
Disaster
the
for
minion
Girl. They
wave.
give up both the dragon and the mid tower for this.
They're getting tier 2 into the top lane.
Getting a tier
Losing
2
tier
top
1.
lane tower.
And they're pushing up into the inhib tower.
I don't know if
It
I
looks
like
like
this.
they're gonna try and force an inhib tower down.
We've got both bot laners resetting from
I'm
GOTR.
not sure they're gonna be able to.
They are
Impale is
looking
up.
for it. They are heavily looking for it. The
Raj,
ultimate coming
they
out of
force out the
Gangplank. Karma
Gangplank
comes
ultimate.
in, using the barrels to try and slow down the enemy team. Gets it onto that, get the Ziggs. Stan United
Nice
coming
block
out when
from Stinky.
Kaden ults. Stinky actually falling to Reddington.
Troll Zoe on almost no health.
Getting a taunt out. Zoe can't actually come in. The routing coming in there. Eric comes in for a flash and then gets slowed
Tenno
down.
slowed by those bombs. Overall,
Not being able to.
just a 1 for 0 in the favor of GOTR, but they also lose their mid tower.
Oh, Yamato. It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine, he still has taunt. Yeah, a lot of strange plays coming out. You can actually see that the Karma here has picked up the Mikhail's Crucible, opting for that in order to get anyone out of the Ghana ultimate.
Saving some of
Pretty
those
much.
laners the 1300 gold tax.
A really good buy actually. As long as you can get close enough to use it, you can essentially save your laners. Yeah, like you said, a lot of gold.
Mhm.
And you're forcing that Skarner to have to ultimate the Karma if they want to guarantee the kill a lot of the time, which is not what he really wants to be doing.
That being said, I do like how Stinky's using this ult in these fights. He seems to be like hovering with it, and instead of just immediately going, okay, I can
Ultimate
find a
coming
pick
out
here.
and getting it
Oh.
onto the Caitlyn with a nice
Faster.
flash ignite.
There's that Ziggs I've been waiting for. But yeah, as I
Like
say,
I
I
said.
like how Stinky isn't immediately just going, right, I've got to ult this person. He's waiting, letting them blow them some cooldowns, and then when the fight's, turning to their favor and GOTR want to leave, then he's ulting, bringing them back in so he can guarantee something from it. Whilst GOTR don't have the cooldowns to, get them out of that Skarner ulti.
So, it'll be interesting to see what the two teams decide to do here. Is only the Baron really up on the map?
Stinky's
they
stepping quite
decide
far
to.
forward.
Again, we have both supports with the Moby Boots. We love to see Moby Boots on enchanters, especially Morgana.
I was gonna say, how would you feel about the Moby Boots instead of... I'd honestly have been thinking about the Tabbies for Troll Zoe as well.
Honestly, I wouldn't have minded Tabbies here. I wouldn't definitely
Skarner
wouldn't have
going
minded.
in onto Eric, looking to steal that red buff. Going to Tenno, the Shen coming in. Are they looking?
Nice
are they getting
taunt.
ulted by the? Caitlyn's getting ulted, going over
They
to the
picked Tenno
Skarner.
there,
Blast him,
Reddington
throw him
coming
away.
in for that,
and
but
Laser
getting
Panda's
stunned.
Mikhails didn't.
Flashes
wasn't
straight
used.
into the Jinx.
The Mikhails wasn't
Well,
used for the
Stan
Skarner
United
ultimate.
going onto the Skarner. He's going to look for a flash.
Flashes
He gets
the
a
wall.
Taunt.
double taunt and gets a double kill on, or get a kill onto Shen and one onto Jinx. Looking for a turret dive into the last two.
It's a disaster for GOTR here. The good news is there's no lanes really pushing apart from Preston getting some damage on that bot lane. The worst that's probably going to happen here is Girl managed to get the Baron in return.
Jinx pushing out the mid lane, and it's going to be pushing out the bot lane with Preston as well.
Dot has finished his tier stacking in time and Triforce, so he's hit that point where, you know, he's a relevant champion. But it was in that last fight where we just panned over and I saw him right at the end. I was like, where has Dot been this game?
He's been farming up. You can see that 222 minions. He's been trying to get as much as he can, get those items that he really needs. He doesn't have his boots upgraded yet. I would expect to see those upgraded as his next buy, and that's really the point where they will want to fight.
He's got enough gold to do it.
He has got enough gold to actually upgrade. Looking to reset now.
Drake's up in 50 seconds.
Reset. Get
So
that.
you can actually see that now
The package is up.
Corky does now have 150 gold bounty from farming.
And he
So
doesn't
you
go for
have
the boots.
seen. Goes for the seal instead.
Sure, how I feel about that. Yeah, it gives you the 7% move speed, but you've only got those base boots. The extra magic pen especially will be really useful when there's not much, well, actually no MR.
There's no
whatsoever.
MR.
The MR has been picked up by Troll Zoe, but that's just in the case of getting Athenes. It's the perfect time really to get those boots.
Yamato could get picked here.
Eric showing on the top side. I don't know how I feel about this.
It's a lot of damage onto Eric actually. Yamato was basically untouched.
He shows on the top right as the dragon is about to spawn. He's not even... This can just be bursted down. There's no way he can get here in time for this.
Dot's there with the package.
Preston's zoning them out, and so is now the Morgana, and they're just bursting down that dragon, getting the third dragon. While
Yeah,
top lane,
just-
you have Eric getting... Jet Reddington getting engaged by the Shen.
Oh, Eric could get caught out here. No, he's just going for that. Just going for the Skarner pillar.
Capture the flags.
Gotta get that 15 gold, you know.
To the flag indeed.
And the packet's being used mid lane.
And nothing goes onto it. Yeah,
He used it backwards.
Corky not looking like Dot's best champion. This is one of the things I did wonder about Dot is we'd only really seen him on a few champions. I did wonder how when we get him onto one of those champions that isn't the Kassadin, it isn't the Azir, how he was going to perform. I think we can see that the level of his performance has been lower this game. Not dramatically so, but he's definitely made some errors, especially with uses of the package.
I feel like it's
waiting
been
to-
So I
less
didn't expect to
errors
see
and
from
just
him.
more. I feel like he hasn't had much of an impact.
Eric getting engaged by Yamato Cannon, taking almost half his health bar with just a Shen frontline. Looking for an ultimate onto the Skarner, and Black Shield goes off for the Karma. Flash out
It's trying
by
to force the flash,
barrage.
and they use the GP ult. Sabotauri's a little out of position here, but it's completely fine. Does manage to get those auto attacks onto the GP barrels.
No real big cooldowns used there apart from the cannon barrage.
and the
So-
flash onto Lazy Panda.
I think it'll be interesting to see here what Girl decide to do in terms of breaking the base, whether they'll just
They
push.
throw out the ult from
That's a lot
Preston.
of damage. Whether they'll push as a team or if they think they need to get this Baron.
DP
Reddington.
getting caught out by that. That's a taunt going there. The dark
They're
bunny
waiting
and
for
the
the
Deadly
orange.
ultimate, just moving him out. And he
And that's what
cannot
Girl
get away.
needed.
Yeah, good.
The
good
problem,
wait.
the problem with breaking Jolyu's base here is they've got such good wave clear in the GP, in the Corki, in the Caitlyn, in the Karma. It's so hard to break through the base through the mid lane, and them going from jungle finding Reddington there is huge. It means they can now split these either force it mid and force that 5v4, or split or take a reset. Which is
Yeah, they're just going to spend the extra gold that they've gotten. It's not like they have Baron. They don't have to push right now. They did get the GP, but
stepping quite far forward actually.
if you're not going to get anything from it. And you also got to remember, it's going to be slightly easier for them to break the base just because they have that Ziggs, the last 30% of the base right now, with 3 points in that satchel charge. He'll be able to execute any tower that they get down to 30%. But I expect to see them take a reset, set up their vision, and then go for this Baron. See if that's what they decide to do.
We're really, really close to that Jinx 3 item power spike. She's about halfway through that I expect to be RFC. And once she hits that, Zabatori is definitely the one to watch out for.
And you can see here, Tenno on the Caitlyn has had to pick up the QSS. I'm not surprised. There was a time where Lazy Panda did not actually use the Mikhail's Crucible successfully.
Missing the taunt on the bot lane, Reddington seems like he might be getting away from this point, but here comes the Jinx and the Morgana from the top side. See if he can get out.
Holding that binding cap.
That's the ultimate coming down, and it's just getting auto.
Nice side steps, but
and
overall
getting
not going to be
ultimate-
enough.
Ulted by the Morgana and getting picked up by the Shen.
Yeah, Jolyu didn't quite get fast enough, and Preston actually doing a nice job of slowing them down up at the top. Unfortunate that Zoe had to use the ultimate there. Binding wasn't quite connected, as well sidestepped by Reddington.
And they're pushing up the bot lane, it seems, to try and break
what they
out
need.
bot lane.
They just need a bit of damage onto this tower. They have two really good...
Preston.
Oh, uses a satchel charge to help himself get out. I'll just wait for the next wave here. Satchel charge should be back up. in
Dragon's
order
also up
to,
in 45 seconds.
This
break
is
that.
the sole for girl at the moment. So they could be looking to try and get some picks before roaming down to the dragon. They have all three.
I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I think they should just be pushing towards that bottom tier tower and then turning to the dragon when they get it. They can attempt to poke out while they're doing it. If somebody goes to ward, they can actually just turn on them. Here we're just waiting for a...
Stinky.
Oh, here goes
Right,
Stinky.
Detroit pulling the Trundle straight.
He
to the
grabs the Trundle.
Getting knocked almost instantly, getting a very clean kill onto the side of girl, where they can just turn and get the dragon.
And yeah,
spawning in
There's no
5.
QSS on Trundle. Karma was nowhere to be seen
It was
nearby,
just
so
the
there's no way for Trundle
righteous
to get out of
glory
that.
move speed caught even me off guard.
Disaster.
With no way to contest this, Lazy Panda. Ooh, gets caught by the zap.
Getting slowed down, getting rooted, and
Oh.
just chunked down by both the Ziggs and the Jinx.
And yeah, this is just basically a classic girl game. They draft the late game.
Yeah.
A nice easy team fight in comp. They get towards that late game. And they just team fight well to win the game.
That'll be inhibitor tower falling.
Going for the
Does
inhib in the
have
mid
package.
lane.
But actually, it looks like Garlo just gonna back away here.
Looking for the top lane as the minions have been pushed into the tier 3 towards the inhib. Where they can just clean up,
Oh, the
get the
package.
turret. Here the packet's coming out.
Good job by
Here's the
Dot. He
first
flashes
dot.
away.
Flashing away, connecting onto Zoe, getting a kill onto the Morgana, and maybe getting out from this while his team is slowly and surely not catching up to save him.
But that does stop the pressure on the base. It looks really bad, but in the end they stop
Karma
the mission to the
getting
base.
a stun and root onto the Shen, but Shen can just get away. Wellington
Yeah.
facing down, here comes the Skarner, ulting him away, here comes the Orange.
Oranges.
Orange used.
The root not going out, and the Shen
Look how
getting away.
tanky they are.
Top lane is just falling down to Ziggs and Jinx.
As long as this Corki is not alive, there's nothing they can really do. The amount, all that's really been picked up so far for the Shen and the Skarner is that armor. It is quite interesting considering how much of a carry Dot has been for the side of Ioriaa before. That basically no MR picked up against the Corki, and it's working out for them.
So like all three inhibs down for GOTR now.
Yep, that's triple in here, but I expect them to just go either fake or do the Baron, and then turn that into just finishing the game.
I mean, look at the
Either way.
gold that all of Girls sitting on. 2.7k waiting to spend on Yamato, 1.3 on Stinky. Preston obviously just reset. You got 2.4k on Zabatori as well. So let's look at these item pickups. Let's see, coming to base. Yeah, there you go. Zabatori finishes at RFC.
You see in chat, GOTR were considering whether to surrender, and they almost did.
I've not got chat on screen.
3-2. You are allowed to surrender, of course. I'm not going to force people to stay in games that they're really hating.
Gonna
Try
steal
not
that
to
red
surrender
buff,
where
Preston.
possible.
That
Ouch.
damage from that Ziggs ultimate, though, putting Tenno to half health.
I mean, this is it. This is basically Girl's game to throw away now. 15-4, hovering around this Baron.
Yep,
Creating a
they'll
little bit
just
of vision.
slowly clear out the
Actually,
vision.
gonna start
Then
it up.
they'll start up the Baron.
Kind of looking for Eric in the jungle, but just going to turn back and go for this Baron.
Yeah, they'll just make sure they don't take any risks with it.
Cannon barrage coming in to try and steal it, and the smoke comes down, taking the Baron away.
Yeah.
Stinky just waits to use the smite there until he's 100% sure. Everyone else you could see peeled off it, so that he didn't have to worry about one of them bursting it suddenly when it wasn't expected. And they knew there was no one close to really stop them doing that.
Yeah, and it's now just slowly pushing in these waves. They've got 3 double super waves coming in.
And here you
Tower's
can see
dropping.
they just no damage is done. Oh,
Flash
they got
ultimate
dodged,
onto the Corki, and he cannot even escape from that.
and that will
And the
be
base
game.
is just breaking. Stan United coming up, but there's no need.
It's game 1 to go.
Game 1 to go. So, what are your thoughts for MVPs of this game? Should we start with the losing side? We'll start with GOTR this time. Thoughts on an MVP for GOTR?
For me, honestly, I think I want to say Lazy Panda. Because I think I'm torn, because there was times in the game where I saw Lazy Panda, I was like, yes, you got the KOs, you're cleansing, you're doing good. And there are other times it was
You didn't use the Mikhails. Oh no, now Caitlyn's dead. Yeah, I don't know, I find it quite a hard one to do. A part of me thinks Eric actually played quite well. Whether he deserves MVP though in this game, Dot didn't really have the big impact that we wanted from him. But if you don't compare it to his previous performances, he still did fine for the game in itself. At what point he did stop Girl actually pushing into that second Nexus tower, at least for a while.
Yep, they vote in chat for your MVPs. Just yeah, for Girl, that is. Yeah, who are your guys' MVPs for Girl, our winning side for this game?
For our winning side on the side of Girl, think myself, I'd probably. You can give it to anyone here. Honestly, it's one of these games again where it was a big team effort and anyone could have got it. Myself, I might edge it out towards Preston on the Ziggs. He didn't really get much done early, but it's an early Ziggs. You don't expect Ziggs to get much done early. Later on, he was getting some picks, some really nice picks with his things. You could just see the amount of damage he was doing.
Yeah, honestly, Preston surprised me once again with that Ziggs. Because I was saying, about the 10-minute mark, I was like, okay, the Ziggs is okay so far. It's not really impressed me. But as the game went on, it just impressed. Yeah, I don't know how else to say. I was impressed with Preston. Interestingly, chat's MVP votes are very split among.
Yeah, personally, for the losing team, I'd have to give it towards the either the Caitlyn or the Karma. Caitlyn, just because Caitlyn tried to do everything. Tenno tried to do everything he possibly could to win that lane and to win that game. There's nothing else he can do when he's getting flashed ulted by a Skarner or flashed on by Skarner, Stan United by Shen, getting taunted, getting suppressed, getting stunned. Caitlyn couldn't get out of that, and for the life of the team, couldn't protect her.
Ended up having to build that QSS, and even that was not enough. The QSS and the Mikhails
and the Mikhails
were not enough to outdo the CC from the side of Girl. And yeah.
Chat votes.
And
Skarner.
For me, I'd have to say the MVP would have to probably go to Yamato on Shen in the top lane. Purely because of in the team fights, the Stan Uniteds saved quite a few of his team members, as well as getting double, triple taunts on the enemy team, making them not do anything against that enemy team.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the vote is pretty good actually in showing that everyone got at least one vote to be the MVP of this game. I think you could have argued for pretty much anyone on the side of girl to get the MVP that game. And in the end, our chat decides to give Stinky on that Skarner the MVP for game 1.
I mean, yeah. I just I think the ultimates were on point from Stinky. Every time there were objective fights, you saw Stinky, tunnel visioning. Where is Eric? I need to ult Eric. Bring Eric to the team. Finish him so we can easily secure this objective.
And honestly, they did what they had to do to win game 1. It'd be interesting to see how the adaptations for game 2 come out, what's decided to be banned, what's decided to be left open. Is there anything in particular you two are expecting either team to ban?
Hopefully, the Shen.
The Shen?
Um,
I would, in a lot of respects, agree.
I'd like to see them respect Preston Ziggs. Because if you look at the early game, I think he was 3-0 at the 15-minute mark. And it wasn't because, Preston won lane into Dot. I think Dot was 0-1-1. The roam potential Preston had and how quick he was to be in every fight, every skirmish. And the impact he had with that Ziggs. Honestly, props to Preston there. It really helped Girl make it through that early game and finish the way they did, finish so convincingly. But I don't know whether that's a Preston on Ziggs or whether that's a Preston as a player.
Yeah, I think myself, honestly, I might leave the Ziggs up if I was GOTR, although the Ziggs was really good. I think there are other places you could shut down a lot more easily on the map. You could take away, for example, the really hyper carry champions from that bot lane, from Zeratori. You could take away the Jinx, and you could take away the Shen in the top lane. That was really enabling this sort of hyper carry late game play style. And you could work around that, as opposed to trying to get this really favorable mid lane matchup. Because again, if they just ban out your mid lane, and you try to save that counterpick for the mid lane, we saw they got counterpick on mid lane, and it didn't really go well for them on the side of GOTR. So I don't think that's a way to play this game. I think you have to look towards those other lanes and making sure they also do really well.
I mean, yeah, they are on blue side this time, so they are going to be able to get their priority picks in.
Yep, but we saw last time that the Shen was the priority pick. Whether Shen is something that GOTR is happy to pick up as a priority pick, I wouldn't expect it, so I would expect Shen to get banned. They might want to pick up the Caitlyn again as a priority pick. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that, especially if you ban out the Jinx. I think although it's played fine into the Jinx, just banning out that sort of really late game hyperscaling carry means that your early game pressure will mean a lot more scaling up towards that late game.
We will have to find out. We're just waiting for
Yep.
one last player from GOTR. Currently it is Blitzcrank bot. Who are we waiting for actually? Wait for Dot. Nope, there's Dot.
No, everyone's here.
Everyone is
They
here.
just need to get into their game, get into their places. Then we'll check everyone is ready. They're reordering themselves.
That gives
that's
me
nice.
time to
I do
put
like
the
that.
teams in the right places. Because this
And
is now
then now all
GOTR. And this is now... Girl, high quality stream. Very, production value. I probably should have taken your advice last time and made 2 separate scenes. But yes. Just waiting for the
okay.
teams to-
Told them that they can go as soon as they're ready. But we've seen they're just having a toilet break, of course. That's fine. You're allowed to have toilet breaks between games, of course.
Nah. Who would let players
Can't
have
stop
that?
that.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
And here we go.
Let's pop our
Um,
champ select music on. And let's get into the game. GTR versus Girl, game 2.
I think they may have started that despite Girl saying they were waiting for Zabatori to get back from the toilet. Zabatori is quite far down the pick list though, so I expect Girl might just stall this out until he gets back. We see Vigar banned again into Preston. They don't want him on that Vigar. And again, they're just taking away Eric's by far best jungler in the Jarvan.
Yeah. So, no Game 1 bans coming out just yet. Both teams sticking to what they know before. If we see another Ioriaa ban... Actually, no, there's the Shen ban out, as
That is the
already
Shen ban.
predicted. Respecting Yamato's Shen. And honestly, that's understandable. Yamato's performance in Shen last game. Yeah.
They're respecting Lazy Panda's Rakan again. We've not got to see Lazy Panda's Rakan. As you've seen, he said he'll only bring it out when they're up against a team that deserve it. And Girl is saying, you know what? You're not even going to get to. We respect the fact that you can play it, and we're just going to ban it. Kassadin, again, banned out against Dot because it is Dot's most played champion and his best champion that he looks on.
Yone banned against Preston again.
I
First
think
pick
that's
Caitlyn
fine.
for Tenno again. I honestly don't think Tenno did too bad on Caitlyn last game.
No, I think Tenno was fine on Caitlyn. And Caitlyn's a strong pick. Completely fine. We see the MF picked up, so a bit more of an aggressive
Skarner,
early game bot lane.
Stinky.
And Skarner yet again for Stinky.
Ah, I'm so glad that we're seeing the Skarner once again. It's a rare pick, or at least for this. For
It's
our
been
league.
75% of the games I've been against.
Okay, so maybe not for you today, but
Come on, let's go, Eric.
Oh, and Eric's locked in that Zac. Zac, very good jungler, and we'll have to see how this works out for them. A nice, easy way to interrupt an MF ult as well.
That is true. The early pick MF was bold.
I am
was.
very excited to see the Zac jungle because every time I try and play this game, I always have first ban Zac. So, I'm excited.
From your stats on Zac, I'm not surprised, and Yasuo, of course, works pretty well with Zac. Zac can get that big knock up to put with your Yasuo ultimate, and then Zac can ult and keep them knocked up for even longer. Really obnoxious.
And the
So,
Thresh.
GTR
so-
picking a slightly easier to draft, easier to execute draft so far, but I like it.
So this
There's
is
definitely some, comp identity in this draft so far.
So this is interesting. This is very much a sort of pick draft for side of Girl, and I'm not so sure about the Thresh. Trollzoe definitely does better on the Enchanters. We'll have to see how they manage to make this Thresh work for them. It does give them the Lantern as a way out. If somebody gets caught, can also, of course, flay or hook to interrupt a Zac jump. In terms of bans, we see Cho'Gath banned out against Reddington, and we see Ziggs banned out against Preston. I respect banned into the Ziggs.
The girl are saying, okay, what's Reddington going to pick when they've got Zac Yasuo? They don't want the Slowgath, and they don't want the Malphite. They're thinking ahead, and I like this target towards Reddington here.
Yeah, they're taking out those big, beefy front lines that have a lot of knock-ups that will help enable the Yasuo even more than he's already enabled by the Zac. I think the Malphite especially is a ban that you want to look at whenever there's a Yasuo in the game.
And taking away the Jack
And that's
Jack.
from
the
Yamato.
Jax on Yamato.
And you said it last game, Aldi, when the Shen was
Yeah.
away, pick the Jax.
He
Yeah, listen
picked the
to you.
Jax in the top lane with Skarner in the jungle. So it was.
So that's obviously a big split push champion. Generally, you can also build Jax to be team fight.
Ooh,
But they do have, they're
yes.
saving the counter pick for top lane. I
That
do like
is-
this.
I
the
like
sun
this.
onto the mid lane.
I
So
like
that's a
the
lot of
Lysandra.
CC that you can put straight into one enemy champion. So far, the only downside I really see for the side of Girls comp is they are slightly lower range than you expect. Nautilus picked up, Nautilus into Thresh is a decent pick. Nautilus is a soft counter to MF. As soon as she ults, you ult her. That ult's going to go off and interrupt hers eventually.
Also, the
That's why
heavy
it's only soft.
CC on Skarner, so you can't do anything if he's going for that fight.
And Mordekaiser picked up in the top lane so that they have more of an AP threat.
No, I-
Mordekaiser is a risky pick. That's a blind Mordekaiser.
It is a blind Mordekaiser, but I do respect it actually, because one thing I haven't mentioned was that the 2 games we went against in the girl, their last 2 bans for the top lane were both been Renekton Mordekaiser. No matter what we're picking, they've always done Renekton Mordekaiser.
Here we see the Lucian locked in against the Mordekaiser. So, yeah, we're going to see a very volatile top lane. I would expect both jungles to be hanging towards this top lane quite heavily. Honestly, a very volatile bot lane as well. If one of those lanes gets far ahead, ouch. It's a lot of an earlier game draft on the side of not the side of GOT, on the side of Girl this time. So they're not so much on a timer, but they can't rely on their late game scaling this time to pull them through the game at a certain point.
I would say it's kind of a mixture between early and late game, because once they get to the late game, you are going to have a very strong Lucian, Lissandra, a tanky Skarner, and a very tanky Thresh.
Thing is, they have a good team fight team, but the MF and the Lucian especially are 2 things which, when you get towards that late game and the champions do start leveling up to level 18 and people start catching up in level to the Lucian, that's when he starts to fall off and MF starts to fall off as well. Caitlyn as well, to an extent, will have the same problem. We do have a game which is the mid game is where it's really going to explode here.
Yeah.
Now, what I really like about Girls Draft is, so they picked the double carry with the MF and the Lucian, and I really like how, you know, this Lissandra pick can either be played as a, you know, I've got that huge gap closer with the claw, and, you know, definitely have the potential to one-hit Tenno's Caitlyn and the potential to survive with that ultimate on yourself with Hourglass, whatever you want. And I also like Preston's pick on the Lissandra as a defensive pick. As soon as Dot goes for that ultimate on Yasuo, Preston can ult on top of that, and Dot's ultimate is suddenly useless. Dot's now caught in the middle of the team, unable to move. And with the amount of damage that Girl can output, I would be surprised to see Dot survive that. So
It's just a really good kite CC pick. Something also will work fairly well into Mordekaiser. It's going to bring a lot of AP as long as you live. As soon as you get 1 kill, you're going to start really snowballing that team fight with the Lissandra passive, because these extra slows are a real bitch for the Mordekaiser and the Yasuo to get towards your carries.
Do we know what the chat thinks who's going to win? Like, who do you think are the 2
Oh
teams
yes,
going
let's
to
put
win?
a vote
Yeah,
in
you
chat.
should
Thank you
ask
for
that.
reminding me.
I'll be
So
back in a
game 2,
second.
the vote will be going out. The GOTR on the blue side, vote for them if you think they are going to win. And Girl on the red side if you
On the
think
web
they are
side.
on the website. On the red side if you think they are going to 2-0 this game. So yeah, vote away in
So-
chat.
Personally, I really do like GOTR's comp. Like, they have one on Girls' side, they have one very heavy front line, which is the Skarner, who is going to pretty much get in the middle of the team and try and pull out that Caitlyn or stop the Yasuo from doing anything. In the team fights of GOTR, Mordekaiser should be able to stop Skarner from doing that with just his ultimate by simple, and Zac should be able to get into the back line, stopping MF and Lissandra from doing much by CCing them constantly, allowing Dot on the Yasuo to get to that back line and doing the damage from behind. Which still only leaves it leaves Lucian and Thresh still, but they've got to deal with a Caitlyn Nautilus, one with a high CC. You can just press ult onto the Lucian, which then stops Lucian from being able to dash around and be able to kite that well, where Caitlyn can just get a trap underneath him and do a lot of damage that she needs. Very hard to execute, but I think in terms of team fight wise, it can go either way, but more for me, go towards GOTR.
And yeah, that sounds amazing on paper. And if GOTR can execute that, brilliant. My only worry is if I look at how Girl played last game, specifically how Stinky played that Skarner, he didn't, well, most times, he didn't just run out ahead, make the ult pick, pull them back, and then go for the pick off. He would wait in the fights, let it be a bit messy, let some people start going down, and then when some cooldowns have fallen, then he would go for that ult pick, then he would drag them in, and that made it so much harder.
Sometimes he didn't follow that though. Sometimes in like towards the late game in the mid game,
Towards
he
the late
did
game,
just go for like
when Girl
the
were
pick.
already quite significantly ahead.
Yeah.
I think in the early game, when he's respected Geo2R and they're more evenly matched, I think that's how he tends to play it. Chat seems to vote Girl as well with an 80-20 split, so a lot more skewed than last time.
So
But yeah.
here we are into game. I think, honestly, it's a bit weird this time. In terms of what your team fight looks like, I think the slightly easier to execute draft might actually go to GOTR this time. They've fixed that up. Their team fight should be slightly easier to execute than Girls.
And would
In
you
terms of
believe it or
scaling,
not?
I don't think there's any ridiculously one team's going to outscale the other, although I would give it slightly to GOTR in terms of outscaling. So I think Girl have given
Mordekaiser
themselves a
and
nice
Zac.
challenge here.
We do, and I loaded into the game before minions spawn, so that's always a good start.
Yep, we had a fan out. Both junglers put their wards into the top side.
And Stinky
Pixel
already
Brush.
based. In fact, both junglers already based, swapped out for the sweeper early on. So yeah, due to our putting that ward and Girl putting that ward in the exact same bush, top side, pixel bush.
It is like I have to say personally, it's interesting to see what Erica's going to do on the Zac, because something that you can do on Zac is you don't even have to start with refill potion. You can actually just start with 2 control wards, getting a control ward up towards the top side, getting a normal ward as well, backing, and then getting the sweeper to go and clear the own jungle. You don't even need refill potions on Zac at all.
Yeah, this is interesting. Sometimes you do even see that Zac's starting with the Reju feed, because you do like to get Warmogs at some point, and the Reju feed just build into the Warmogs eventually, as opposed to that refill pot. We'd expect Preston to push in towards this early game, get poked down onto Dot, which is what is happening. The bot lane shouldn't really go in either particular direction. We'll just have to see who does get the better trades. And top lane, I would expect that Lucian to be poking out the Mordekaiser, especially early, up until the point where Mordekaiser gets ult. And if Lucian doesn't have his QSS, yeah, we might be looking at a kill.
One thing that does surprise me, I've just spotted this, is the choice of Airy on Preston.
It's for the early pressure. You're going to keep auto-attacking, so you're going to keep getting that poke of the Airy poke down onto the Yasuo, and you hope that you can poke him out. Unfortunately, Yasuo, of course, his second passive out of the 5 is a shield, which comes back every few seconds from you just dashing around. So it's very hard to
Eric
Dashing
looking in, there is a flash onto Laser Panda. Eric coming in for that, getting the Q off. E going in, very
On the
nice
side.
on the CC. And the first blood going to the Caitlyn. Here comes Stinky on the Skarner, but they're just going to back away as they can't do it. Very nice engaged by Lazy Panda, and very nice followed by Eric.
Can I point out what,
Nice
what
setup from
was
the side of
the
GSR.
last hit on Zavatori there was a flash net from Tenno.
Yeah, just to make sure they get that kill into the Caitlyn. And honestly, I respect that. You want to get the kill into the Caitlyn. The fact none of the others of them take it, they allow Tenno to get that with the flash net, is really good.
I'm shoving that
Look
wave
at this
in.
wave they're missing.
Yeah. Zavatori gonna miss a huge wave there. And honestly, actually,
And the Skarner going in onto Lazy Panda, but the Caitlyn can just zone out that Thresh from doing much, and the Yamato Cannon on the Lucian pushing into Rennington under the tower, taking a tower shot.
not a good start for Gal.
It would be interesting to see what the front line, like Eric, is going to start building on the Zac into this team. Because Warmugs is very good on Zac, but it's not really needed until towards the end of the game. The first few items I can probably see coming out of it would either be Dead Man's Play or either Randuin's or Frozen Heart.
I
on
think
a team.
Frozen Heart is quite expected Randuin's as well, but those are probably 2 items we'd expect to see him pick up at some point of the game.
Yeah.
You see Dot here just making Preston stop that back over and over again. Preston taking the ignite again as well.
Yeah, I don't like Preston's choice of ignite. I don't like Preston's choice of starty items. And I don't like Preston's choice of rune either. And
I think it's fine. It's just unfortunate for
rough.
him
I
that
would have
he's
gone-
overall taking worse trades.
I would have gone TP, I would have gone Electrocute, but I would have recommended going Aftershock, and I would have gone Corrupting Potion on that Lissandra.
Dot could be getting caught out by the Skarner Lissandra, but isn't actually going to get
Preston
followed up.
doesn't want to fight here, so
Preston's
just
got
gets
no
a bit of
mana.
a trade.
Preston has no mana, and the Thresh has come up, which is making him lose a bit more experience towards that compared to the Nautilus, who's in the bot lane already.
But it's fine. Hopefully
Get a bit of
you're...
Solo XP into Zabatori, let him catch up a little bit.
Wow. He's getting zoned off the wave, but
That is true, so maybe no solo experience with Zabatori.
But the real good thing, if you look towards this top lane for Girl, is the fact that the Lucian is getting really far ahead of this Mordecai, so that's to be expected, especially when you don't focus any of that jungle pressure up towards that top lane.
The
Your
early
poor
dragon
Mordekaiser.
going to G2R, though, is sneaking
And
it
it's
out.
an ocean.
It's an ocean, which is really good on Nautilus, Mordekaiser, and Zac.
That is going to mean the world to Mordekaiser. Sure, he hasn't got his early ganks to help him actually survive in this lane, but that dragon is going to help him. It's going to be like a pot going almost constantly, as I would expect him to be fairly low health most of the time in this lane.
Plus, with his E as well, is going to help him just to survive into that, or his W to survive into that lane against Lucian a lot easier. See, both laners, the top laners have ultimate now, so it's going to be a more of an interesting fight if people do start to tend to roam.
See an interesting point where the Lucian's picked up a fairy charm just so that he has that mana regen and he can continue with the poke, especially with the Q. In terms of the bot lane, slightly favoured towards GOTR right now because of that kill. Mid lane is quite favoured towards GOTR. Dot getting the better of Preston in this matchup.
Already a 400 gold lead there.
Yep. Stinky is slightly ahead in terms of jungle farm,
Now,
and the top lane very focused towards Girl's side.
Yeah, Avatar's already built up 500 gold lead here, based purely on CS.
something I would say towards Eric at this point, I think he has made a mistake going with the upgrading the jungle item already to the Chilling Smite. He should, instead of Stalker's Blade, he should just upgrade it straight into Cinder, Bami's Cinder, because that makes his clear in the jungle 100% quicker and much easier.
Generally, you do see that, but never know. It could be that he wants that Chilling Smite to help with the ganking, getting just that little bit of extra CC, a little bit of extra damage.
Speaking of,
It
I think
is-
Stinky's hovering in this mid lane. I think Preston's trying to bait an engage here from Dot. But actually wasting a lot of Stinky's time there. It doesn't pay off. Herald spawning in...
Now.
Now.
Yeah. Harold spawning in now.
I said spawning in, pulled out the tiles, I was like, oh. Now.
So he has gotten
Stinky
fights
does
on
have
that.
the both the
Does-
the mark
But
and
this-
the Scuttle Crab getting the stun to Eric.
Definitely far more favoured towards Girl to be able to pick this up from the pressure that Lucian has in that top lane.
It would be very interesting because Eric still has his passive, so it's still
Oh,
in his.
Stinky
It's
just
also
bullying
level
Eric.
5, Stinky is level 6.
Use that smite there. Make sure that Eric can't get that extra XP that he was looking for from the Grump. Because Grump is worth a lot of XP.
Got engaging onto that Preston. There's a flash coming out of Lissandra. Here comes Nautilus. Not level
Yep.
6 just yet. Not being able to get that ultimate off. Getting suppressed by
Preston's got
the
a mana.
Skarner. Using the Q onto Lissandra. Here comes the ultimate by
Preston doesn't
Dot.
have mana.
Oh, going on to Preston.
Lazy
Just
Bandit's
had
right,
enough mana
though.
to do
Getting
that.
the kill on Dot. Just
Beautiful
missing
hook
it
from
with the
Troll
hook.
Zoe.
Zoe!
Missing that as well. Getting stunned and going to go to a double
Even
kill.
throws the lantern
Skarner.
back for Preston in case Preston wants to risk it and come in for that kill.
Zoe with a huge hook
Yeah.
there.
Just on the
Save
edge of the hook
Preston.
range there, you could see hit the maximum range for that extra lock-on window. If you don't know how leak hooks work, that's how they work. If it goes maximum range, you get a big circle around it, and it will lock onto anything within that circle. So yeah, perfectly placed, pretty much.
Honestly, that was a minor disaster for GOTR there, as they didn't secure the kill on Preston, didn't get the kill on Stinky.
However, both kills going to their tank jungle, which isn't as good.
Unfortunate that they went to Stinky.
Overall, though that big of an impact, it does mean he'll get his Randuins quicker. Haha. That is if he decides to go Randuins again. It also means that he can bully the Zac out more by himself.
Definitely
not what you
should mean that
want.
he should go to the Randuins
Anton?
first with a Caitlyn Yasuo.
Hook,
There's a hook coming out.
interactions.
Nice.
Nice interaction.
Nice from Lazy Panda there.
Top lane pushing in, and the Herald is still up, of which with no vision on either side.
Yep, I mean, Herald, you've always got to remember, it's worth a little more than a kill. And the whole time you're doing it, it means you're not farming your own jungle. So overall, it tends to come in at less than a kill's worth to take it.
You know what, it does look both teams are posturing towards this dragon. It is going to be a Cloud Drake.
So it looks like
Saboteur?
they're going to be getting caught out
Oh,
by
Eric's way out of position
Eric's
here.
getting caught out.
Zoe.
He still has ultimate, using ultimate. His passive
just-
coming off now,
CC chain him.
and he's gone. Now, the
Definitely a
interesting
little
thing
far
I
forward there.
just realised on Eric is that he's actually building straight into Spirit Visage first item.
How do
I
you
don't-
feel about that as a resident Zac player?
So at this point,
This game?
Spirit Visage is always a good item on Zac, no matter if it's only 1 AP champion or 2 AP champions. It gives such a good bonus on the healing from the W, basically making
2v2
Zac.
in the bot lane though.
There's a 2v2 in the
Oh,
bot lane.
it's
There's
awesome.
ultimate going onto that. The Caitlyn
See
getting
the
suppressed.
damage out from the
Straight
Well,
MF.
it's time.
MF getting, and there's Lucian teleporting down. Is he gonna waste that? Is he gonna waste the TP? Thresh coming in now, missing the hook.
Does get solo
And the
plating.
Herald
Yamato.
seems to be going to Eric. The
Flash
flash going to
forwards,
Yamato, and the
There's the
ultimate.
ultimate.
TP wasn't
Tenno-
wasting, gets the plating and the kill.
Nothing Tenno could really do there. GTR will pick up the Herald in return. Plates are still up so they can get a powder kill's worth back. Overall though, yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, so I was saying with Zac and Spirit Visage is a great item no matter what game you're going into because of the healing from the W plus Ocean. It just makes him even more unkillable. However, with the team and who's ahead at the moment in which lanes, it's got to be for like Dead Man's Plate or Frozen Heart to be expected to be first pick, not the Spirit Visage.
So that'll be a small skirmish over the
He gets it
scuttle, and
again.
Stinky just changed his
Yeah.
mind actually.
And
Plus worth noting, Skarner does do quite a bit of
flashing there.
AP damage just from his
Awesome.
The
Enough
ultimate
to catch him.
should be coming off here.
But look,
Using
using
his
that kill
E-
from Preston.
The W, using his E to his
Oh.
Heads
plate,
out over the wall.
getting towards the Yasuo. Now the thing is, you've got to remember with Skarners, once he's in his like little points, he does gain a lot more attack damage and speed. He can
He's not
use his
done.
E there to dodge it again, and he will be able to get out.
So with the
And
flash,
a heavy follow.
hook doesn't
Just-
connect.
Just getting a vision wall behind. Perhaps even looking for that red buff. If Skarner's going down to that red. Caitlyn and Nautilus just getting vision, not coming for this red buff.
Contesting it, he's got the pillar.
Support and mid lane coming over. Nautilus is also trying to support that, but is going to go over to Stinky.
Yeah, they're just doing as much as they can to shut Eric out of this game. Actually going in the spot lane. Oh, gonna use the
Oh,
ult to
nice
pull
pressure.
Lazy Panda out of his
Getting
hook there.
not up to the Preston, getting 3 ultimates for 1 kill, and he doesn't have hook or ultimate.
Honestly,
That was
at this
well
point,
timed.
as we're approaching mid game, kills are huge for Gull. Because as we talked about before, this is going to be a huge mid game for both teams, and any gold Gull can get to solidify their lead makes it so much harder for Jolyu to come back.
But interestingly enough, the least we've seen happen is in this top lane.
It's a ranged
Yeah.
top lane against Mordekaiser. There's not really much you can do.
Yamato's farming up a
Pressure the
storm.
Mordekaiser. I
That's about
expect almost them to be tower diving the Mordekaiser a lot, but they decide not to. Honestly, just happy with Yamato to be able to farm up and slowly damage this tower.
And yeah, he's got a 1300 gold lead already. Actually,
Going
taking
off
off
going
top
for this
lane.
fight.
Coming onto Yamato.
Flashes
There's
forwards.
Mordekaiser probably getting that kill actually.
That gets the
getting
solo kill.
shutdown.
Well played there from Reddington. I do like the fact that this game he has picked up that Bramble Vest early.
He picked up Bramble first and then went into the Haunting Guise, so he was really respecting that Lucian's damage from early.
And probably expecting a Bork out first from the Lucian. Yeah, didn't go Bork in the end, but that will work quite well in his favour when a lot of that heat
Eric's
starts to
pinging
come
the
out.
top turret. Looks like they're going to use the Herald there.
Unfortunately,
Herald
first
top
turret's
lane.
already gone, so they don't really get much from it. But it
Apart
does
from a
make
lot-
it a lot more risky for this Lucian to be pushed up.
It is very interesting as well that Eric is actually pushing it to the top lane and not even backing away, even though the dragon is coming up in 40 seconds. It is Mountain Soul, so it is very important for both teams to have that extra armor.
Actually, Eric's still on this top side. Not looking for the reset just yet.
Flash
Stinky.
forwards there from
There's the
Stinky.
suppression, the stun going on,
there
and
we
The
see-
slight delayed combo of the Impale from Stinky into Zoe's Lantern. But it works
Skarner
nonetheless.
Thresh combo. Yep, it ended up working. And they'll get a mid tower from it.
Yeah, probably going to rotate down to this dragon. Eric did reset during that time, but is still in base, so it's going to be late to this dragon if they start it. So look
I
over
suppose this
Jolyu
is the
don't actually
point.
have any vision in the pit.
So you have to be wondering, was it really the Skarner that should have been banned?
Maybe indeed. Oh, Eric going for the steal, doesn't quite get it. And the Lissandra
Yeah,
into the
ultimate use.
Skarner.
The
Times.
Sandra also
Active coming
used.
out, and it's going to get that, going to kill Eric.
Goes on to Stinky. I mean, they could have just left that honestly for one of the carries to pick up. It does look like Skarner's going a slightly different build this time. What does it look like
It
that's
looks
going
like
to
you
build
have a
into?
Triforce.
It looks like
It's
it's
going
going
to
to
be
be
the
Triforce.
Triforce.
I like
Yeah.
this considering he's picking up the kills and he's ahead.
Well,
As long as he maintains
This-
this lead.
slight issue you have with it is you are hurting the fact that you don't really have much of a front line. Do you need a front line, though, is the question.
At
That's
this
the real
point,
big thing
probably
here.
not. The amount of CC and the damage they have at the moment, there's no real thing to front line. The only thing that is going to be a worry for them is going to be the Mordekaiser. But that's going to be a 1v1
Yep.
situation pretty much every time.
It is a Caitlyn who has gone Stormrazor first, and a Yasuo who's gone Phantom Dancer first, though both of them not really picked up any major damage components yet.
You do normally see on Yasuo builds to go PD first.
Yep,
more
you
than
do. Sometimes you do see them pick up a BF sword, not often, but it's just worth noting that he hasn't actually got any of that AD yet, so
No,
his
he
damage
does
is
have
still
enough-
quite capped.
He does have enough to go and buy that BF sword now.
Yep,
Yeah,
setting on
exactly.
14
Eric
to
could be getting picked off by Preston here, but is just going to E to try and get away. The Herald's coming up in 30 seconds, so it could be look like they're looking for a play for that.
I
Or
wouldn't
looking
be
for
surprised if they
clarify-
herald into top lane or if they top lane into herald. Because it
Honestly, I'd like to see a top lane dive here, and then you take the Herald
looks like they're prepping
afterwards.
for it. Reddington
Yep.
Reddington
got a
is-
wave now.
He clears out that wave, but that's 5 champions here. They can swap tank very easily if they wish to. But
Eric
they're
is 100
hanging
Tenno also
around.
here.
Tenno coming over to back up as well, just trying to pull him out.
Reddington's walking back up though.
Go in.
What is
the
this?
Shroud?
Stunning.
Shroud is cleansed
QSS.
The QSS comes off, saving
though. Reddington
Reddington.
not paying attention to the perks
Going
of the
to
Yamato.
flash it, hitting her.
Oh, hook straight into the minion. And they're just gonna push his 5 here, try and get damage down onto that tower.
Hook doesn't connect, but that hook
But
does.
that hook does.
Oh, the bullet
That's what
time.
happened. From the
Bullet
FN.
time.
Suppress on that Zach
Eric's pulled back, but that's
getting
not a
the
tanky Skarner.
shutdown gold onto the Skarner and getting wiped out by the Lucian, taking a lot of damage onto everyone.
Tenno did get very low from that, had to flash backwards.
Flash and heal.
Yamato here could one-shot Tenno.
It's being hit by Laser Panda.
Nice
The
ult
ultimate
from
coming
that,
out.
and Yamato not getting picked up there. Troll Zoe is actually tanking right now, trying to get that turret.
Oh, they do get
Laser
the
Panda with the flash.
Flash. You have Mordekaiser coming
cool.
here.
Oh my
and
god,
a very
this is...
nice pick.
We've hit the
Mordekaiser
scrappy
still
part of
had
the game.
Flash. They know where they're going. He's just picked up Flash. He could be flashing in on something, but it's not going to go for it.
That was some interesting plays near the end of that.
Interesting is a word.
Interesting is a word.
So it is going to be picked up Spirit Visage first on the Zac, and he hasn't even got Cinder Hulk, which I don't agree with. Cinder Hulk is the most important camp clearment for Zac in the jungle. He doesn't have Bammy Cinder or even a Cinder Hulk upgraded jungle item. There isn't much point clearing out your own jungle. Cinder does so much for Zac in both teamfights and the jungle clear that he could actually bring himself back, even behind with his CS behind.
But this is one point where I don't think he really wants to be clearing his jungle. I think you want to just be giving it to your carries, get them to their item spikes, because that's what you really need right now.
Yeah, you do need that. At the same time,
Especially considering Tenno's just had to spend 1,300 gold on, you know, Lissandra tags.
on
This are just Skarner tanks. Yeah.
But for it to be 21 minutes in the game and Zac hasn't got his main jungle clear, he's been behind CS for quite a while. He has enough for Bammy Cinder. He should just buy it.
Oh, Tenno.
Oh, Preston goes in for this.
Going in, Preston.
Can only cleanse one thing, Tenno.
Oh, but Stinky's here.
Oh, but the
Going to
Caitlyn
kill
trap.
Preston.
But
Oh,
the shield
Lantern
for the lantern.
shield.
He's going in by Eric, possibly getting this.
Nice
and there's
flash.
a flash
Nice
coming out.
flash.
The E's coming up very soon. That's a
Slows
flash.
Reddington.
But let's bounce.
And
Lantern's
there's
available.
forwards.
There's
He's stuck
Using
in
the
the
ultimate just to make sure that's picked up.
Stuck
and
in
there's
that
no
death realm.
possible lantern.
nice kill going into the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser's going to get very scary now.
Meanwhile, Dragon has spawned. It's going to be soul point for Gal.
Not before pre-soul point.
This dragon will be soul point for Gal.
Yeah.
Yep. So again, this is just a case of which
the
team.
hook.
Going in, getting stunned and getting ulted by the Preston.
Still alive.
Surviving
Preston a lot
just
of damage.
bit more. Doing half damage onto Preston.
Ooh.
Very well.
Misclick
The
from Lazy
app,
Panda
nah,
there,
lazy.
issue.
So what Lazy Panda used that? So that stopwatch, he was ulted by Stinky, took the lantern, but that stopwatch stopped him being pulled, like through the lantern and the Skarner ult. From what I saw,
You can't stopwatch during a Skarner ult, but okay. Maybe he saw the lantern being thrown and just stopwatch because he thought he was going to get Skarner ulted. But I don't know. I don't know what
I
happened
think
there.
Skarner's ult came finished before he got pulled all the way by the Thresh Lantern, so he actually stopwatched as soon as Skarner's ult finished, stopping him halfway.
Oh, obviously this game is very heavily in Gull's favor right now, but at some point they do need to start pressing down these last few towers, really pressing their lead ahead. They are probably going to get this soul. It is a mountain soul, which is a very nice soul, especially when two teams want to be
Tenno
doing a load
forced
of
to heal
damage.
away.
Yeah, so coming down onto the Tenno, not getting the secure kill and using ultimate, forcing the heal out of Tenno.
Trading your ultimate for a heal
Eric
though.
coming down and not going to get anything from it.
You're always happy to trade your ultimate for a summoner.
Yeah. The cooldown on Lucian's ultimate is so much lower than the heal. It's
Yep.
not going to get caught out by Skarner, no? And they're looking to start the Baron, I think. They're on the Baron
Yep,
at the moment.
I think they should. Took a
Eric
while
is
to go
bot
there.
side. No vision
And they'll
actually
just-
on that side for GOTR. Already on the approach for Gar. So like Baron's
No,
gonna
they're
go over.
splitting up to get the vision.
Lazy step forward.
Eric could be getting caught out by Yamato. Yamato's going to back off, and they get the Nasher.
And now
Looking
Stinky go, that
for
super speed will pull.
Getting that depressed and pulling him,
You know,
using...
I've been really impressed with the timing on these Skarner ultimates. He's waited for the Nautilus hook to connect and for Nautilus to start moving. That's what you have to do, because otherwise the hook still goes off, no matter what CC he's hit by. So Stinky has been timing those ultimates really well on Nautilus, stopping Lazy Panda from being able to get out.
So a quick update what happened. Bot lane, Dot went to engage onto...
Meanwhile, mid lane actually. Stinky. Oh, they're going to land it out.
Yeah. So what happened in the bot lane was that Dot actually flashed Ignited into Yamato on the bot lane on Lucian, trying to do his best, just getting kited by the Lucian, so he had to get away from him quite quickly.
Kite power, that is Lucian.
Didn't flash, didn't ult, he just got away.
Speaking of flash ult,
Flash forward.
Duet coming off, Tenno just surviving, getting
Not
picked
quite.
up by
There was a red buff and
ult
scorch, I
coming down
believe, in combination.
onto that MF, and Eric is going to get picked up by that
the power
Lissandra.
shot on Preston doesn't finish him.
Guy not killing Preston.
Ugh. And that should be game.
Honestly. The amount of damage that Lucian did last fight.
Well played
Caught
by
me
the
off
side
guard.
of Girl. A pretty clean 2-0. I feel like we need to stop describing things as either clean or not clean. Yeah, I'm gonna stop doing that soon.
Nah, clean or not clean, those are the only two things a game can be.
That flash,
flash
and
hook.
then pick up another
Oh.
kill. That was fresh. How about that?
That was it.
There you
That
go.
was the
The
fresh
next-
kill.
Yeah, pretty clean 2-0 there. In terms of what went wrong for GOTR, they just sort of started to fall
I thought you
behind
said you weren't going to use the word clean.
after this game. Yeah, what started to go wrong there for GOTR was they started to fall behind early. Both these teams really wanted to get ahead in the mid game, and Girl just played better with their map rotations and with their picks to get ahead in the mid game and really snowballed out this win. And GOTR really couldn't do anything against it.
Yeah, so I'm
Yasuo
just setting
just
up
hit his
a
power
MVP
spike.
vote.
As the game ended. For you guys, in terms of MVPs, we'll start with the losing side of GOTR again. Who do you think you would give it to on the side of GOTR? I definitely have
think-
someone in mind.
I think it's kind of obvious for me. I think that the MVP on G2R has to go to Reddington in the top lane.
I agree. Yeah, I think he did what he needed to do. He was always going to fall behind in that lane against Lucian. He didn't give over any kills. In terms of how far behind he was, he managed to keep it to an acceptable amount. And he even ended up getting that solo kill eventually on the Lucian.
Yeah, even behind on the Lucian, he got the shutdown gold solo without really any help. He just got ignored in the top lane.
I'm struggling because yes, Reddington had a good, good lane, or did the best of his lane that he could. When it comes to actual, map-wide presence and participation, I feel like Reddington was lacking.
He was lacking, but there was nothing he could really do. Realistically, as that Mordekaiser, you need to get those first few items and be able to start making your presence known on the map. If he, for example, if he had followed the Lucian TP into the bot lane, he would not have had any outcome on how that fight went because of the difference in power between the early Lucian and the early Mordekaiser. The fact that he stayed up in the top lane, just getting that farm and getting to where he needed to be, was good for him. He basically did what he needed to do for his team, but overall, in the end, unfortunately, the rest of the map crumbled, and yeah, it's not much you could do there.
Yes. How about for your winning team? Your MVP for Girl. I know exactly who I want to give this to. And it's the, as pointed out in chat, 100% kill participation Skarner.
Yeah, I think
How can you not be MVP? 100% KP.
you can give the MVP here to a lot of people. You could argue that the Skarner shouldn't have taken the kills, but there was a couple of kills he had
Yeah.
to take because of how things went. And then he decides to build into the Triforce. Should he build into the Triforce? Well, it worked out in the end, so sure.
I do
You can
agree
see he
that
actually ended up with the most gold in the game by one.
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 I
Literally
would
one.
say that Garner did really well in the jungle, and he does deserve that sort of MVP. But personally, I think man has to go for that to go to the Thresh, the roams and the catches, and just the full out lockdown on the enemy team has just been superb. The communication between both Skarner and Thresh, a lot of the plays that Skarner did, he wouldn't have actually gotten out without that Thresh being there with him. At points, you did see Skarner going deep into the enemy team to flash ult, and he wouldn't have gotten out unless he had that Thresh lantern right behind him, following him the whole way.
That's
Yep.
true.
And of course, important to point out, I don't think anyone did badly. Again, on the side
Yeah,
of Girl. There's nothing you can say. Like, you could make an argument again for anyone really being MVP if you really wanted to.
exactly.
But yeah, in terms of our chat vote, we ended up with 55% for Stinky on that Skarner. So Stinky actually taking both MVPs. I believe that puts him above Dot in the
Honorable
race
mentions
for
from chat
MVP.
for Zoe on Thresh and Yamato Solution as well. Not quite as split as the last MVP vote, but definitely split nonetheless. Yeah. So that'll be a 2-0 for Girl, putting them currently at the top of our Ocean bracket.
Yep. And that puts GOTR in joint second place with SAS Desert, who didn't actually get to play, ended up getting 2 free wins. As a slight note, I guess we should note, talk about this. If a team cannot play their game, they can FF the game for a week, but they get a strike, 3 strikes, and you will be ejected from the league, and you will not be allowed to rejoin because we want people to play games. And you have 3 strikes because we realize real life things happen. It's entirely possible you get to a game day and you have 3 different emergencies from different people and you can't find people to fill those slots. So it's fine. But there is that 3 game strike window. So WA now do have a strike against their team for not being able to play one of the weeks. Hopefully they're able to play every other week. And this was just a one-time thing.
And hopefully, SAS Arctic will actually have a jungle for next weekend. On the lookout.
If
Yeah.
you guys want to apply for SAS Arctic's jungle, there you go.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in being SAS Arctic's jungle, what was the rank? It was gold
Gold to plat.
to plat. Go hit up MrOuldy in the Discord or message him directly. Of course, if you are interested in the CL Discord, I will pop the link in chat. Go join it. It doesn't matter if you're in a team or not. We do in-houses. I think there was talk of maybe an in-house happening today, which would be quite fun.
Yeah,
But yes.
keep warning.
Other shout-outs, of course. Check out Kevin's Twitch. Is it going to work?
Nope.
Nope. It's not going to work.
No,
Oh, there
it
you
never
go.
works. Ah, there we go.
Uh,
Yeah,
have you-
basically, if we're not streaming here because Mia's not around, it will be on there. So drop it a follow in case once Mia isn't here.
Exactly. Is there anything else you would like to shout out, MrOuldy? Aside from the fact that you need a jungler.
We need a jungle. No, apart from that, no.
Well, thank you both for casting with today. Thank you for GTR and Girl for playing, and of course MM and AE earlier as well. It's about the podcast they didn't play today. You know what I mean. Yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. We will see you next week for our week 3 of Jolyu League. Bye.
They're there.